Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where I plan on making videos around horse racing and betting, working my way through the fields and trying to pick out some value for you. With racing set to return on June the 1st and everyone sort of gearing up ready for the first classics of the year, the 2000 and 1000 Guineas at Newmarket, which will be held on the 6th and 7th of June, I thought I'd go through with a few of my Ante-post selections for those races and pick out where I think there is some values. So starting with the 2000 Guineas, which is a Group 1 flat race open to 3-year-old colts and fillies, run over the Rowley Mile at Newmarket. So I'm just going to run through the betting at the moment. You've got Pinatubo 10 to 11 favourite, Arizona at 8 to 1, Kamiko and Kinross at 14s, Alson and Threat at 16s, Military March 20s, Wichita 20s, Alsahale 25s, Siskin 25s, 33 to 1 bar the rest. So it is hard to look past Pinatubo going on form alone. The best rated 2-year-old ever, £2 better rated than Frankel was on his 2-year-old season. Has put a lot of this field to the sword before, beating Arizona by over 9 lengths and then winning again by 2 3/4 lengths. But personally, I think the price is a bit too short at 10 to 11 on. I'd much rather take a bit of a punt on a horse improving a lot. Charlie Appleby has been impressed with how Pinatubo's trained on from 2 to 3. But personally at 10 to 11 it's far too short for me. Arizona, like I've mentioned, has been put to the sword by Pinatubo last season, and at 8 to 1 going on form alone, it would be a challenge to back the horse. However, he is trained by Aidan O'Brien, the master himself, who there is no better man for improving these 2-year-olds into their 3-year-old season. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona went and won, but personally at 8 to 1 I think it is a little bit too short based on form alone. Then we've got Kamiko at 14s, which I think is a very good value selection. Likely to have Oisin Murphy on board, champion jockey last season. Kamiko won the first ever Group 1 on the all-weather at Newcastle last year, where he beat Mogul, one of the favourites for the Derby, and actually beat Kinross, who's also priced at 14s. Personally, I think Kamiko is a very good value bet, and I'm going to have a small each-way stake there. And the same on Kinross at 14s. Kinross has just had the 2 runs. Didn't run too well on the all-weather, being beaten by Kamiko. I will forgive him for that run. I feel he was hampered when he had to change direction. Had a very impressive debut. The only thing putting me off Kinross is Ralph Beckett's first time out form. I don't think it is the best, but with Kinross I think the horse is an absolute monster. Got a serious engine on him and I think is a contender. Good price at 14 to 1. Then we've got Alson, a French trained horse, 4 wins from 6. I do question the quality of some of those fields. Not a selection for me at that price. Threat at 16s as well for Richard Hannon. Of course, finished half a length off Arizona in the Coventry Stakes at Royal Ascot last year. Again, I don't think Threat at that price is going to do a lot for me. But I expect Tom Marquand on board, so there is always a chance there. Moving on, we've got Military March, who is undefeated, 2 from 2. Had a great run against Alsahale in a great race at Newmarket. Alsahale priced up at 25 to 1 for this race. Neither of the pair of them do it for me in the Guineas. I think both horses probably do want 10 furlongs as opposed to the mile, but time will tell. Both Godolphin horses, so I mean they have a shot. The horse that I am very keen to see run is Wichita at 20 to 1. Was 3rd behind Pinatubo and Arizona in the Darley Dewhurst Stakes last season. However, I feel, as I alluded to earlier, there's no better man to improve these horses than Aidan O'Brien. It'll be interesting to see whether Wichita does train on well. I personally think he will, and may even be able to reverse the form against Pinatubo and Arizona. I think based on their 2-year-old seasons, Wichita and Arizona are very, very even horses for me. One's an 8-to-1 shot for this, one's 20s. We'll have to wait and see who's on board, whether it will be Ryan Moore on Wichita, just like in the Darley-Dewhurst, or whether it will be Shamey Heffernan. That's going to be interesting to see. Personally, I'd rather have Heffernan on board. I think he had some fantastic rides last season, particularly Anthony Van Dyke in the Derby. But again, it's one we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, Siskin at 25-1 is another unbeaten horse. However, for me, I don't think the horse stays the trip. Siskin's only run over 6 furlongs. It's probably bred for 7, optimum. I think the mile is just going to be a bit too far for Siskin personally. We'll have to wait and see. I think it might be a frustrating one where the horse's optimum trip is over that 7 furlongs, and there's not an awful lot of these big races over the 7. Time will tell. So for me, I think Cameco, Kinross, both of those at 14-1, and Wichita at 20-1 are where the value is. Moving on to the 1,000 guineas, which again is run over the Rowley Mile at Newmarket, open to 3-year-olds, but this is open to fillies only. So just running through the betting, we've got Quadrilateral 10-3 favourite, Love at 12-1, Milisle 12-1, Albina 20-1, Cloak of Spirits 20-1, Daya 20-1, and Trop Beau 20-1. So apologies if I pronounced any of those wrong. So starting off with Quadrilateral, Quadrilateral's of Frankel Sire, unbeaten horse. 2 of those wins came on good to soft ground, so if the ground did become soft, I think Quadrilateral would have a big edge over the field. But personally, well, there's no chance of it being good to soft. I imagine good at the very worst, probably good to firm. I'm going away from Quadrilateral. I'm not sure if I'm going to lay the horse or if I'm just going to back some of the other horses in the race. Second favourite, Love at 12-1. It's going to be interesting to see whether Love goes for the 1,000 guineas or goes for the Oaks at Epsom. Personally, I think Love should go for the guineas. She is Galileo's sire, so could obviously stay if she did want to run in the Oaks. Again, trained by Aidan O'Brien, 3 wins from 7. Wants the faster ground, so as we're expecting, good to firm or good. I would fancy Love to turn over Quadrilateral personally over a mile. Has had 3 runs on good to soft or yielding and been beaten on all 3. Then we have Milisle, 12-1, Jessica Harrington trained horse. I'm not sure on the trip on this one again. Has only run the 5 to 6 furlongs last season as a 2-year-old, and I think again 7 furlongs is probably optimum for Milisle. So I'm probably not going to back the horse. Albina at 20-1 was comfortably beaten at by Love at Curragh, and I can't see a reversal of that form, let alone beating the rest of the field as well. We've got Cloak of Spirits at 20-1, not a horse that's particularly impressed me personally. And we've got Daya at 20s as well, who I have been impressed by. 5 wins from 6, and of course winner of the Albany Stakes at Royal Ascot last year. So I think Daya has a real chance at 20-1, should she run. And Trop Beau, again, I've probably mispronounced that. 20-1, French trained horse, 4 wins from 6. Again, I would question the quality of the field beaten over in France there, and has only had 1 run in the UK, finishing 3rd of 11 behind Milisle. So obviously there is a long way to go. It's about a week and a half now, and it will be interesting to see a bit of trainer form, sort of first few races back, and also wait for the all-important stall draws. But my each way selections at the moment will be Kinross, Cameco, and Wichita. Then in the Guineas, I'm going to wait on Love to see whether she is likely to run. And then I think Dayet is good value at 20s. Like I say, I'm going to err with a bit of caution, not put too much money down, and potentially pile some on closer to the time. I think it is going to be a great leveller, that no one's going to have a run before these classics, although for the 2000 Guineas anyway, it's not much of an issue. A lot of horses do win it without a prep run, particularly from Aidan O'Brien's stable. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts, your selections, what you think is good value.